But I hope things are getting better. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't have a pulse on things. But when I was growing up, holy shit, it was like even the women were sexist. I mean, it was a nightmare. I was in 5th grade, and I had this teacher that she just loved the boys. And the boys were fucking mean. Oh my God, these kids were awful. Kicking soccer balls at her. I mean, like mean to girls, like beyond hair pulling. Anyway, okay, so this one day, I decided to read a poem that I wrote in front of the class. I don't know why. Like, why was I trying to attract more trouble? But my parents had taken me to Gloucester, Massachusetts. That's where The Perfect Storm was filmed with George Clooney. That was filmed there years later, but just as a Boston person, every time I say a town, I have to announce if a movie was filmed there. Just by law, we have to be proud of that. My parents took me to Gloucester. I saw a lighthouse. I guess I was really into it. I don't know. I wrote a poem about it. And I asked my teacher, can I read this poem in front of the class? And she's like, I guess so. But I think she was like, oh, God. So I'm there, and I read my poem. Now, in the bully's defense, this poem was super phallic, and I didn't know it. So I read this poem, and the teacher's like, okay, Jen's gonna read a poem. Here you go. And I was like, and I'm 10 years old. Lighthouse standing on a cliff. Straight and tall, nice and stiff. One rock on either side. A spray comes out the top. I mean, it was ridiculous. So Ethan, the bully, goes, that sounds like a penis! And all the boys throw pencils at me. And the teacher was like, okay, Jen, sit down. And I'm like, they yell penis. They should be like, waterboarded. That's a big deal. You don't yell penis at a girl or at anybody. So the teacher, it was recess, and she goes, boys, can you stay behind? And I'm like, aha, they're going to get in trouble. So I hid under the window, and I listened. And I was like, here it comes. And she goes, boys, we all know Jen's a little weird. So just try not to be mean to her, because then her mother calls the school. And I mean, she was just like selling me out. So I run in and go, I'm not weird! And she's like, boys, go. And I go, why aren't they in trouble? They said a bad word. And she goes, Jennifer, you've got to learn. Boys will be boys. Right? It's like, what are girls going to be? Nothing, probably. So that was the day the rage began, right? A rage that has not been contained since it started. So a couple weeks later, we're in gym class, and we're playing one of those games from the 80s that don't make any sense, but the teacher's hungover. And he's smoking inside, and he's like, there's some sticks and a rubber ball. Play indoor bounce ball hockey. I don't know. And sometimes when he would give us those kind of Lord of the Flies things, he would tell the girls they could sit out if they wanted. So he's like, you girls can sit out. But I'd already picked up a stick, and he's like, Jen, you can sit out. And I just made eye contact with the bullies, and I couldn't put the stick down. And I ran over to Robbie. He wasn't even the main bully, but he was just in my eye line. And I just started whacking his ankle like I'm chopping down a tree. It's just wood hitting bone. And he goes to the ground. He goes, stop! Why are you doing this? And I go, girls will be girls, I guess. And I had to go to anger management at the school, which you don't know there's a school psychiatrist until you have to go to her. And she's in a room like behind the nurse's office. And she doesn't get as much business as the nurse. People volunteer to go to the nurse's office because they want to lay down. People have to be forced to go to the psychiatrist. And she's just sitting there. She's just waiting, smoking. She sees a girl come in. She's like, come in. What was the problem? And the boys were bullying me, and I hit a kid with a hockey stick. She goes, that's okay. She goes, just do some finger painting. So I did some finger painting, and I I know what you're thinking. It's some kind of thing where they analyze the kids painting. No, she was like, just chill here. It's fucking wild out there. And she just looks at me and I go, do you have to look at this or anything? She goes, no. She said, what did your teacher say? I said, she said, boys will be boys. She goes, This is gonna keep happening. I said, what is? And she goes, she didn't even answer. She just went, put out her cigarette, left the room and went, stay as long as you like, and left. And I was like, what? Like, I don't even know if she was real.